They always said that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you should listen twice as much as you talk. And let me tell you something, she lived it, because when she was talking to you, she was talking to you.
There could be a crowd around her, but she was with you and no one else. She had a unique way of celebrating people.
Well, she knew the importance of listening to people, and I mean really listening, because it's an active thing, not a passive thing. She really understood that.
And it's important for 2 reasons. There's an old sales adage that goes, your customer will tell you everything you need to know in order for you to sell her your product. All you have to do is listen. So first and most obvious, by listening, you receive valuable information. And the second reason it's important to listen is because you make the other person feel important.
And that one is so important, because Mary Kay always taught us that we should treat every person like they have a sign around their neck that says, make me feel important. A minute ago I said listening wasn't passive. Good listening is active. It takes the whole body.
Absolutely, Sandra. Absolutely. You know, a lot of times I think we forget to be mindful of what we're doing. You know, we're communicating with our bodies. I always say, you get what you give. For example, when you're smiling, don't they just smile right back at you?
They do, and eye contact, it's another one. Going back to what I was saying about Mary Kay, really an explosion could go off right next to her and she would not take her eyes off of you. And what we learned from watching her do that is that when you divert your attention away from somebody, you're really saying, I'm not interested in this conversation anymore.
Why don't we talk about body language for a minute? Because posture communicates so much. When you stand with an open posture and your arms and your body are relaxed, the person that you're with will actually mirror you. In a sense, you can set the tone of the conversation just by making some subtle adjustments in how you stand. For example, if you lean forward, you communicate, I'm interested in what you have to say. Am I right, Sandra?
Certainly, and I teach this one all the time. You can't believe how people react when you pass out your business card with a little sample and a big smile. I mean, if somebody smiles at you, you're more inclined to say hello, to talk to that woman, because life is like a mirror. As you said, Gloria, you get what you give.
Anytime you can warmly respond, you know, a nod, a smile, a wave, whatever, people are more likely to be open to speaking with you. And as soon as they start sharing, you will start receiving some of the information you need to meet their needs. Then you make a connection, then there's the sale.
And it's a continual process. If you show genuine interest, your customer will start sharing. And as you listen attentively, they start to share more because, well, they feel like somebody cares. They feel important. Remember though, women are intuitive, which means we really have to care. If our listening isn't motivated by sincerity, the cycle is broken.
Exactly. Our customers feel important when we make them important. I think it comes down to being thoughtful in what you do. Devote your full attention to the person you are speaking with and don't interrupt them.
Oh yeah, how many times does this happen to you? You're trying to have a conversation and she's just talking all over it. Well, we certainly don't want to do that. And one of the best ways I found to keep my attention is by engaging people at the appropriate time. If you have, for example, 5 minutes, don't start a 10-minute conversation. You want to make sure that the conversation fits the circumstance.
It's got to fit your circumstance and their circumstance. You definitely have to be mindful of the person you're speaking to. If they're working, if they're standing in line, if they're trying to take care of their kids, you really want to be sensitive to that. You want to engage people in a way that's appropriate for them.
Sometimes it's hard to determine why we don't get a person's full attention. Most people you meet will have an opinion about what you do. Like my neighbor, remember? You're going to get different responses, like, oh, Mary Kay, or, oh, Mary Kay, or, oh, Mary Kay. It's really 3 responses. The first is, nope, I'm not interested. And you want to build a relationship outside of Mary Kay. You never know where it'll take you. The other is simply asking, tell me more. I'm interested, but not sure. And the last is, wow, I'm excited. And that is most likely a hostess during your power start. There are many meanings to that word, oh.
I love that word, oh. You gotta listen for it and you have to learn what it means. Correctly interpreting that little word can change the entire conversation.
My independent national sales director has always encouraged us to get out of the house. She says the hardest part of independent sales isn't getting into someone else's home, it's getting out of your own. Now, I've always enjoyed working from a coffee shop or a cafe because these days all of them are internet ready, so it's so easy to sit with a cup of coffee and just get some work done. Besides, you never know who you might bump into.
Audrey McDowell?
Yes?
Is that you?
It is.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, and this is the craziest coincidence. I was just
She was calling me by name, and I didn't know who she was. I mean, normally, I'm great with names. I pride myself on meeting someone and committing their name to memory. I'll work it into a few sentences. I'm purposeful about it because I think knowing someone's name is one of the best ways to make them feel important. This time, however, I just couldn't place her.
I have to confess, I feel like I know you, but I'm embarrassed to say I cannot remember your name.
No, you don't have a thing to be embarrassed by. We've actually only met once and then briefly at Sue Reynolds' house. I'm Catherine.
Oh yes, Catherine, you're Sue's best friend, right?
Yes, I am, and you know for years she has told me wonderful things about you, and when I saw you sitting over here, I just had to come and say hello.
Well, I am so glad you did. I know Sue just loves you.
Well, she is dear to me too. You know, she let me try that moisturizer that she uses, and I was wondering where I might get some of that.
Oh, well, it couldn't be easier. I have some right back at the office. Now, you know, Sue is using the cleanser and moisturizer set.
You know, she told me about that, and I use a cleanser that I actually really love, so.
Once I explained how the products work together, Catherine wanted both the cleanser and the moisturizer. She was still a little hesitant about making any changes with her foundation, though.
I do have a quick question. Just so that I could get you paired with the right products for your skin type, does your skin tend to be dry to normal or combination to oily?
I usually ask a couple of questions. What are you currently using to take care of your skin, and what would you most like me to help you with? Every customer needs something. In sales, our task is simply to identify the need and meet it. In that moment, it was clear that Catherine was comfortable with the cleanser and moisturizer, but not ready to change her foundation. So I decided to send her home with a sample.
Well, I could just drop that by your house.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
It is no problem, seriously. What time would work best for you?
How about tomorrow morning?
Perfect. You know what, Catherine? I have a sample that I'm just going to send you home with.
It was a simple first step, but it demonstrated that I was listening, that I understood what she wanted and cared enough to make sure she got it on her terms. And that's the heart of great customer service. As a new beauty consultant, I just didn't know what I was doing. When I held my first skincare class, I was so focused on making this perfect presentation that by the end of the appointment, I sold one mascara. My second appointment went much better. In fact, I doubled my sales. I sold a whopping $13 in product. So I went and found a successful beauty consultant and said, can I just follow you and watch what you do? And by watching her, I learned the secret. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. At every appointment, I began to ask my customers what they would most like to learn about and how I could help them. This completely changed my results simply because I was focused on the customer.
That's good. The most important thing is that once you do get to know them, understanding what they're asking is critical in the process of communication. It can help you build a customer for life.
I love the way Audrey learned something very important early in her career. She learned that that one question could make the difference for her and her customers.
And you know, I really didn't feel like I was the most talented, but I was teachable. Anytime I learned a new skill or I picked up on a new way of approaching something, I would write it down in a notebook that I called my brain book. And I would study those notes until I knew them backwards and forwards. Not only did this make me more confident in the work I was doing, but confidence combined with product knowledge led to more effective sales.
Earlier I said to have the success that you want and deserve, you have to work on your relationships. Well, that is working on your relationships. Thanks, Audrey. We need to be genuinely interested in our customers' lives and seeking ways to improve our ability to connect with them. But not everything has to be sales focused. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
I find myself trying to seek some common ground with the women I meet. It's a lot easier to talk to people when you have something in common. So I'll try and meet them where they are in life.
That's a great tip, Sandra. Obviously, to learn about someone, you have to be attentive and you have to listen.
You talk to a mom who stays at home with her children about different things than a single woman who works in the corporate world.
And another way to say this, something I remind myself of quite often, is just look for that something special in that person. Pay her a sincere compliment, and then you can try and connect with her there.
Can you help me with something?
Yes.
Great. Can you stand next to me?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, exactly. Would you guys say that she is open or closed to what's getting ready to happen? Closed. Closed, exactly. Her arms are crossed, she's leaning away from me. This is a classic closed posture, isn't it, Vicki?
Yeah, when you're talking to somebody, you want to be aware of what the body is telling you and then adjust to it. The crossed arms are usually easy to pick out, but there are other signs you'll see when people are closed off. Maybe they slightly lean away or they back up, or sometimes you'll notice they even want to start to exit the conversation.
Oh no, don't go anywhere yet, don't go anywhere. Another thing people try to do, they look at their watch or they do some other things to divert their attention. Sometimes it's obvious, but sometimes it's pretty subtle.
Now remember, this is not etched in stone. Think of it as nonverbal suggestions, because most often people don't realize they're being closed.
Now, if someone is closed off, you can mirror them.
I didn't even know.
That's okay, that's okay, that's okay. Go back to the way that you were standing. Go back to the way they stood. Now, I'm not closing off, but I am mirroring. People will unintentionally respond to subtle suggestions in movement. I'll show you what I mean. What's your name?
I'm Susanna.
And I'm Gloria. How long have you had your Mary Kay business?
About 3 months.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, so far.
Now, that didn't sound very convincing. That didn't sound convincing.
Well, like you guys said, I think I would like my relationships to develop a little more quickly.
You know what? This is so perfect. Did you guys see that? There's a point in every conversation where people will begin to open up. But we need to be aware of what they're doing and adjust to that. When she turned to me, I opened up my arms and she automatically opened up. Did you guys see that happen?
Yeah.
Did you see that happen? She became very open, her body became open, her conversation became open. But occasionally, people don't open up. Sometimes they stay closed. And when they do, it's okay. Give them space, let them go. There's no value in either of us forcing a situation. Thank you so much. You can have a seat. And would you guys give Suzanne a round?
Remember how we started with the idea that all interaction matter? Whether you hear yes, no, or maybe, it's important that we leave every person we meet with a positive impression of ourselves and of Mary Kay.
And as we begin to talk about respect, I want to challenge you to think of 3 kinds of respect that are relevant to our business. First, as independent beauty consultants, we do business in a countless number of places. So it's really important that we respect the establishments where we might be working. And that means from the way we speak to their customers and their employees.
That's a great point, Vicki, because if someone came up to my assistant while she was working for me and took 15 or 20 minutes of her time, I would not be happy.
Nor would I if someone made my customer feel uncomfortable. And second, show respect for the person you're speaking to. Don't forget that common courtesy can go a long way in this area. And if you make a promise, follow through. And finally, respect yourself as a Mary Kay beauty consultant. You have a tremendous opportunity and you're running your own business. Take pride in what you do.
Just the other day, I was in the gym and my trainer says, Sandra, you have a beautiful skin. And I said, and this is a small gym, I said, well, I'm a Mary Kay beauty consultant. That started this whole conversation, and there were several ladies around. One of them brought up Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which led me to talking about Mary Kay Ash Charitable Foundation and how much they are doing. And now these women have a whole new outlook on Mary Kay after a 15-minute conversation.
Oh, that is so great. We do send unintentional messages to the people around us, and sometimes we don't even know it. And those unintentional messages can be both positive and negative impressions.
Oh, and they were listening. One woman came up to me later and she said, what do you do with Mary Kay? I said, oh, well, I'm independent national sales director. And she said, wow, so you drive one of those pink cars? Of course, and I'm very proud of that. I've always believed that being assertive is only partly about making the most of a situation. Being assertive also means doing things with confidence. I was confident in the impression I had left her, and I knew we would see each other again.
I call that purposeful patience. You want to choose when to be assertive because there are times when being patient and letting the positive feelings linger will pay big dividends down the road.
I think the bottom line is we should be assertive, not aggressive. We should be assertive, not passive.
No. Melva has a great story that I really think highlights the difference between being assertive and aggressive. Melva, would you share your story?
Sure. When I was a new consultant, I was out and I saw this lady. She was sharp. I mean, she looked outstanding. So I followed her out the store. I probably followed her about 2 blocks. I just had to give her my card. She was absolutely stunning. I would not let this opportunity go by. And she turned around and looked at me and said, is everything okay? And I thought, oh my goodness, I have been chasing after this lady. And in that split second, I saw the whole thing from her perspective. My intentions were good, but I went about it in a not so good way.
Melva, everyone is going to make mistakes. Listen, ladies, you will make a handful of embarrassing mistakes. But Melva is a testament to the fact that as long as you take the lessons, you can still build a successful business. Wouldn't you agree, Melva?
Absolutely. When faced with a similar situation right now, I first look at how valuable this experience will be for her and what impression it will leave on me as well as my business.
Melva, it takes a lot of character to stand up and share that story. Let's give her a hand for being so brave.
Think of aggressive behavior as being pushy, driving for the sale at the expense of the relationship. When we're assertive, we are focused on the win-win. People are so attracted to that.
And if I can jump in for a second, we have wonderful products.
Yeah.
And we're affiliated with really wonderful people. And I've always felt that one of the biggest points of difference in the way Mary Kay beauty consultants do things is that they work from a position of poise and enthusiasm. And aggressive tactics lack confidence, and they communicate desperation. Sometimes it's better to just leave somebody with a hello and a nice smile.
Sandra, isn't that what happened to you in the gym? You recognized at that moment, sometimes it's better to leave a positive impression of you and Mary Kay.
Yes, definitely. As we were talking, I sensed that she was just making conversation, so I didn't want to press too hard. And because she was regular at the gym, because I saw her in there from time to time, I knew this probably wasn't going to be the last time I would see her. That gave me the freedom to keep things casual.
And sometimes we don't give ourselves enough freedom to just smile, say a nice word without any strings attached.
Remember, it's our role to connect with other people, not their role to connect with us. And as long as I'm connecting, whether it's a kind word to someone at the gym or extending my card in the doctor's office, I can take the lead in the conversation. I know where I want it to go, and I can make an effort to guide it there. To make purposeful decisions, I anticipate and respond instead of reacting in amazement.
How does that look?
It's stunning. You do incredible work.
Thank you.
No, thank you. It's great to know that some people still put some passion in their work.
Well, when you own your own business, it's hard not to put all of yourself into it.
You own the shop?
Since last spring.
It is adorable. And you know, I know exactly how you feel about giving it your all. I own my own business as well.
Really? What do you do?
I'm a Mary Kay independent beauty consultant. Have you ever tried our products?
No, I haven't.
I don't mean to keep you, but I'd love to share my business card with you and this catalog. You will see some of our great products and some incredible gift ideas. And if you don't mind, I'd love to give you a call.
Actually, hey, let me go get your order.
Okay, thanks, Grace.
Can you excuse me for a minute?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I knew her from someplace, but I just couldn't figure out where I knew her from. I was thinking, is she a teacher at my son's school? Do I know her from church? I just couldn't put my finger on it.
I don't expect for you to remember me, but you consulted me on a lip color a couple years ago.
Ah, Michelle.
Yes.
Wow, I hardly recognize you. Look at your hair, and you're a new mom.
I am. I know.
I followed up with Michelle, I don't know, probably 3 times over a period of a couple months. She hadn't returned any of my messages, and I remember being pretty disappointed. I mean, I really thought we clicked.
And, you know, I need to apologize to you.
For what?
Right after we first met is when I found out I was pregnant, and
So often we get our feelings hurt, and it's easy to think that every unreturned phone call reflects on us. Seeing Michelle was a great reminder that it isn't about me. It's all about my customers. I do this because I care about people.
Well, I happen to have a sample of your favorite color. Apricot glaze, right?
that is it, apricot glaze. Oh my gosh, Melba. How on earth did you remember that?
I have no idea how I remember it, but I did. And I think that's what people are looking for. It needs to be personal, and it needs to be sincere. People are attracted by what you do, and not just the people you're talking to. You're making impressions on everyone around you.
Here you go, Michelle.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Melba, it was great to see you.
It was. And I'll give you a call tomorrow just before I drop your lipsticks off.
Perfect. Bye.
See you later.
Grace, it was great meeting you, and you do have a beautiful store.
Listen, I would love to hear from you soon.
A few days later, I was having coffee with Grace, and she confessed to me that she hadn't even considered doing business with Mary Kay until she saw the warmth between Michelle and me. I think that's why Mary Kay Ash spends so much time teaching us to focus on other people's needs. There's nothing we can do that's more attractive. Nothing.